Good day, everyone, and welcome to Thursday webinar. Today, with Chris and me, we will talk about trading markets with expert advisors, and we will give you some live examples of expert advisors that we tested. So, of course, before we start, as always, standard risk disclaimer. But before we do with the risk disclaimer, this is me and this is Chris. And we can start saying that CFD and Forex trading are leveraged products and can result in losses that exceed your deposits. So those are not suitable for everyone. Please ensure that you fully understand the risk involved. This presentation and the video is not for everyone. Have in mind that trading involves risk. So please read the full risk disclosure on this web address. This video is not part of the .co.uk website, but the globalnews.com website. So before you start to trade, always inquire about the risk, and then you will decide whether you will trade or not. Now, what are expert advisors, how they're used, and advantages and disadvantages of expert advisors. So first, we will say what are expert advisors, and basically, expert advisors are programs that allow automation of the analytical and trading processes in the MT platform, mostly MT4 platform, because MT4 is most commonly used platform for trading. So for successful trading, traders need to ensure that they have the right trading platform for safe and comfortable trading. So that is why we have chosen the MT4. Also, the MT4 platform supports automated trading using fully automated expert advisors, but not just robots that will trade, but also robots or expert advisors that can manage your money. We will talk about it just a little bit later. So uh, before we start in a deeper explanation of asset advisors, let me say that it's a kind of software that is programmed in the platform's proprietary language. It's MQL4 in order to automate analytical and trading processes. So basically, MQL4 is a very C-like language, and it's one of the fastest and most functionally valuable languages, computer languages in the world, programming language. And its flexibility makes it possible to thoroughly verify all parameters of expert advisors. How are they used? Well, expert advisors can trade for you, so they can trade instead of you, but also they can manage your trades. This is very important when I say manage your trades, because a lot of trading strategies have been developed through expert advisors, but most of them failed. Most of them failed. So it's very important that you know that some of best expert advisors really need to be updated constantly. There are many different I need to say tons of different strategies that are coded through expert advisors, and that can be coded also by traders and programmers who know how to make one, ranging from simple expert advisors to some complicated. Also, some indicators are written in the form of expert advisors. Let's say that we have a lot of indicators that are pretty much very simple, but they're written in the form of expert advisors. For example, I have Heiken-Ashi indicator and also Heiken-Ashi expert advisor. The only thing is that, well, if the indicator is written in the form of expert advisor, it usually gives you the possibility to trade different levels. Also, that is what I will be showing you just a little bit later. We'll give you an example of our Camarilla indicator that also can do some naked trading. Now, the thing is that trading with big funds is usually automated. Trading with big funds is automated simply because people who manage millions and hundreds of millions in the same time, they usually need a help of expert advisors. And usually those advisors are very, very, very complicated. Very complicated. And the cost of those advisors are too much for an ordinary trader. Usually the thing is that if a trader opts to use an expert advisor, usually it will show some normal price. An expert advisor will be sold for some normal price ranging from 100 to a couple of thousands of euros. But professional and expert advisors, I mean expert advisors that are used by big funds or arbitrage or high frequency trading algorithms that are used by big hedge funds, they cost a couple of thousands and hundreds or hundreds of thousands of euros. So I need to say that in our opinion, an expert advisor can be profitable, but it needs to be constantly updated. So it's not like you have a strategy and then you just set and forget it. You still need to do some manual work, and that manual work is actually uh, a programmer's work. So they need to program it constantly. But those guys who program those expert advisors simply cannot work without traders. So still traders need to give some inputs how to code expert advisors in a proper way. You know, guys, it's not easy. Chris and I have personally developed some of those. Some of our best are still in the testing phase, and some of those are trading some live money to see how it goes. But the thing is that it needs a constant input from us. They need to be constantly worked on if we want it to be successful in the long run. The point of expert advisors is to help you trade. So we also favor not just trading expert advisors that trade instead of us, but also expert advisors that help us in our manual trading. For example, I personally use, let's say, for some of my accounts, of course, not for all accounts, because for higher accounts, I also use expert advisors that I paid for that can do money management as I want. And those expert advisors I personally use on bigger accounts. On smaller accounts, I really don't have a need for an expert advisor. But if you trade with bigger money, then you need, I mean, you don't need, but it's helpful. It's very, very helpful. Also, a lot of traders maybe don't know or maybe know what the algorithmic trading is. Usually, when we mention algorithmic trading, we mention algos. Algos are specialized programs, automated robots that trade instead of big traders, and usually they mingle with the price. They can sell, they can buy just when news has been released, and a lot of times algos can get into the good direction, but it's very complex. Algos are very complex programs, very, very complex. Some of them are based on neural networks, and most of them can read markets successfully. But few times they were basically they read market in a wrong way. And when it usually you will see that when some news is released, something that has been released, let's say unexpectedly, algos will try to correct the price, but then suddenly the price might start to reverse in a totally opposite way, because algos got it wrong. So usually you will see that if the news was really good and the price should go up, let's say it goes down simply because algos got it wrong, or there is some profit taking in the market, and market starts to behave erratically. That usually explains some of the erratic movements, because a lot of big traders, I mean traders who trade with huge amounts of money, billions, they use algos, and also algos try to correct the price, buying or selling huge volume. So algos can read a price in a wrong way, but usually if it happens, they usually correct themselves and the price gets in original direction very soon. High frequency trading is used by retail traders also, but you need to know that not all brokers allow the usage of high frequency trading robots. Uh, High frequency trading means opening and closing of positions usually in a couple of seconds. Uh, Usually, if a trader wants to do a high frequency trading, the best is to call the brokers and ask if it's possible, because I know that some brokers do not allow it, simply because it can be a little bit of misusage and cheating, especially if we talk about arbitrage. The brokers usually, if they caught you with doing arbitrage trading, they have the right to stop you out and not to and to freeze your account, because high frequency trading is mostly arbitrage. It means that you have 3 or 4 platforms open. That robot usually compares the price on 3 or 4 different brokers, and if it sees the gap in price, it instantly opens and closes a position in profit. It's cheating. In my opinion, I have never done that. I am a very honest and professional guy in really even in, not just in life but also in business. And even though I know that it can be profitable, I don't like to do those kind of things, because I'm the living example that really, and both Chris and I are examples that you can make money without cheating, without using arbitrage or whatever. But, well, as you know, some people like to use it, but it's dangerous. It can be used. Expert advisors can be used in any form of trading. So starting from scalping all the way towards the swing trading. The thing is, with expert advisors, they are able really to generate huge profits. So usually when you ask for a statement, if you want to buy an expert advisor, you will probably ask for a statement. And usually traders or people who send you an expert advisors, they will show you some results. Well, the best is to check how an expert advisor performs in a, let's say, year or last 2 years, because it depends. If an expert advisor is meant to be updated on a monthly or weekly or a yearly basis, then it needs clearly to be set. Really, it needs to be set, because you don't know when the expert advisor will stop working, right? So maybe for the last year they were able to generate, let's say, 500% of ROI, return of investment. But this year they can maybe kill your account, either because they are not coded well for present market conditions, or simply because the strategy doesn't work. So that is why I'm saying really results can differ, and you really need to know what you're doing, what you're buying, what you're paying for before you buy an expert advisor. Expert advisors are different niche. It's not like indicator. Indicator is simple, right? It can tell you where to go long, where to go short. It can uh, show you the direction. It can give you a support or resistance, whatever. But expert advisor is a little bit or much more complicated beast than it's an indicator. Bad coded or bad coding of an expert advisor can kill your account overnight. You need to be aware of that. There are also advantages, guys, with expert advisors. Really, it's important to know that there are both advantages and disadvantages. Freedom. The forex market operates, you know that. But if you don't know, it operates 24 hours a day, and it gives you a lot of trading opportunities around the clock. And the amount of time spent for trading will be limited if you're trading manually. It's normal. You cannot trade each single session. But an expert advisor will be able to trade based on the set guidelines, capturing all the possibilities, trading opportunities, and giving the required freedom from constantly monitoring the market. Also, an expert advisor eliminates the mistakes that are made during manual trading because it takes the emotions out of trading and it trades only based on the set of defined rules and instructions. So that consistency should help you, trader, to stick to the trading plan without too much of hassle or divergence from your trading set rules. If you cannot control your mindset and your emotions, well, an expert advisor does not have a mind or emotion. It has programmed mind, but no emotion, definitely. So there is no over trading with expert advisor. A huge asset to traders who are prone to gambling and over trading. Also, one of the biggest challenges while manual trading is to stick to the trading plan. And again, an expert advisor is definitely an emotional being, right, or an emotional program. So, well, it will respect your trading plan if you know how to code it into the expert advisor. Also, it allows for a back testing that it's a must for every single expert advisor, simply because without back testing, you don't know which results you might expect in the future. And finally, money management. A lot of expert advisors, and most of them can deal with money management issues much better than you or me or anyone else if you know what to do. As I say, money management is the holy grail in forex trading. And because of that, usually traders, because they usually, most of them, they break the golden rule of money management. Do not revenge trade, do not overtrade, do not over leverage, and do not trade every single time you are close to your PC, right? Well, an expert advisor can overcome all these obstacles simply because it's programmed to do so. But also there are disadvantages. Most are made for single currency. Also manual intervention. NA, although let's say that NA can trade automatically, it would still require monitoring because of the potential software malfunctioning or some mechanical failures. Also have in mind, as I said for algos, certain political and economic news could largely affect the forex market, and monitoring the performance of an expert advisor would definitely help traders eliminate the anomalies or anomalies of news or, let's say, unexpected political or economical events. So still, they require manual intervention. Also, as I said, you always need to be close to your programmer to give him or her another input if it fails to work. Also, it gives you a wider picture how you should trade, basically, because it will respect the rules and it can instill a common sense, okay, into your trading. Volatility is good, but during big, huge volatility, some of expert advisors can really lose a lot. That is why you need to monitor it all the way, all the time. You expect something to happen. They can also fail during sideways and big sideways movement. Have in mind that expert advisors are programmed based on mathematical and technical rules. And usually they will do most during trend. But if you want to trade on a range-bound market, that expert advisor should be coded to trade range markets. So it will be either range or trend, because it's the strategy. And it has a lot to do with money management. Some people do not know how to test it, and results can be obscure. And definitely markets change. So also as manual traders like Chris and I need to adapt common market. Also, expert advisors need to adapt common and current market. Things change and not always for the better. For example, one of our expert advisors, it's called ECS Master Candle. You can see here back tested on Admiral Markets live account with the latest build. You can see here from this is a nice back test, almost like 2 years. So on 4-hour time frame, you can see how it behaved. Basically, it went in a nice profit. As I say, it's not huge compared how some expert advisors can trade, but have in mind that very important here is to see what a relative drawdown is. So it's only 10%, only 10%. Usually we can allow it up to 40%, right? So this is a result of simple master candle expert advisor. Very, very simple. Just one pair, one time frame, every tick modeled, and this modeling quality, actually, I have another screenshot, but I couldn't find it because I think it's somewhere uploaded on the cloud. But also it shows 90%. So I have also a 90% modeling quality. It's completely the same. The only thing is, if you want to get it to 100% modeling quality, you need to download the data independently. You need to have a third-party program to download complete data, and then you can have modeling quality up to 99%. Now, also, important thing is that you need to register a virtual server. What does it mean, a virtual server? Now I will show you. Just give me a few seconds to open my live chart, and later Chris will continue. He will explain time factor expert advisor. So bear with me, please. For example, here, if you go and right click, you can actually register a virtual server. Okay, and here you can actually register it, rent it for 1 month, 3, 6, or 12 months, whatever. Why it's important? Because an expert advisor needs to run 24/7. It's imperative for you to know that. Unless you want to leave your PC running 24/7. But you still, it's not a server. Your PC is your PC, it's not a server. So what I always do is I register virtual server and let it run 24/7 to see how it behaves on live or on demo account if I want to test it on live. It's important to have it 24/7. Because when you shut down your platform or MT4, it will stop working. So you need to have it on a virtual server. Also, constantly update your expert advisor, even if you're a professional trader. Markets change, things change. You need to be always very, very specific regarding to rules that you impose on your expert advisor. I also prefer a helpful expert advisor because I trade manually most of the time, really. I like expert advisor that can do the money management what I want, my way of money management. And that includes, let's say, imbalanced hedge strategies, from time to time, simply scaling in, scaling out, or let's say managing existing positions on a bigger account by using, let's say, a strategies, grid strategies that I personally prefer. So it's just money management. When I mention grid or imbalance hedging, it's money management. It's not a strategy for trading. It's pure money management. Pure money management. So above all, I appreciate money management expert advisors, but also we try to create also a very good performance out of expert advisors, and we are on a good way to make something that can actually trade something again. It's a different portfolio, but still can help us to manage different accounts. Because as you know, big money trading is one way of trading. Very low money, like a couple of hundreds, is completely different way of trading. And trading like 10 or 50,000 is also another beast, right? So you need to have everyone set up, and fortunately, you don't need to be present to trade everything. You can focus on one or two accounts, and if an expert advisor is okay, you can let it run on other accounts. So this was my part. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Chris will continue. I wish you a great trading week. And as always, guys, stay safe and trade safe. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Nenad. Great stuff. And I'm going to show you my screen. I'm going to talk about time factor EA. And there we go. So what is that? First of all, I'm going to explain that on the live charts. But basically, just a quick introduction. The EA is basically not yet finished. So I was hoping it would be finished, to be honest, with this webinar, but I didn't manage to totally fully get there yet. But we're going to dive into some details. Ironically, interesting enough, most EAs, I think, perform a bit better on higher time frames. This is the opposite. It has so far showing better performance on lower time frames, actually, funny enough. There are some various kind of options, of course, obviously some trade management differences that need to be tested. So I'm going to have to see what kind of things could lead to better results. But the most interesting I thought so far was actually that the lower time frames are performing better. I was going to dive into what it is exactly now, just quick explanation. But be aware that I want to share this with the viewers that are watching here, either live or the recording, but just with two conditions. Basically that the EA is only for you. So I would ask you kindly not to distribute it in any way, either through email or forum or selling. So please refrain from that. If you would only use it for yourself, that is one request from my side. And if you test it and if you try it, if you would be willing to then share that with me and all others that are testing, because I want to share the results that anyone who joins with everyone who joins, right? So it's more of a community thing that we help each other. So if you're interested in that, maybe you don't know, and you will find out when I show you what the EA idea is about. But I just wanted to share this already. So if you're interested, here's my email, and you can send me an email, and we'll get started. So I'll get back to this email address again after I explain it. But these are the two conditions, though, that I expect you, I want you to agree upon. But otherwise, no, nothing else than that. So let's take a look at what it is. So time factor concept, first of all, basically is based on the simple notion of counting candles. So of course we have on the bottom time, on the right we have price. So many times us traders are focusing on price. We're looking at support and resistance levels. We're looking at trend patterns. Patterns are a mix of time and price, right? So our trends, support and resistance levels are only price. But most of the time, our main focus is on price. Time factor, in fact, looks at the counts, in fact, time. So it's more focused on the quantity of time that has already elapsed, or has, it's basically looking at the bottom of the axis, the time part. So when we have momentum and correction, which is basically the main rhythm of the market, either price is moving quickly in one direction, or it's moving slowly and often sideways. These are, it's the rhythm of the heartbeat, the rhythm of the market. So with time factor, it is basically a method by counting candles to understand when swings, impulsive or corrective, are completed and finished. Because one swing, right, whether it's from here to here or whether it's from here to here, is either impulsive or corrective. But that particular swing will finish at one point or another. At one point, the swing will finish and a new swing will start. So sometimes we can guess when that swing will start or finish when looking at support and resistance. For instance, those that anticipated perhaps a turn at 115 because of the round resistance level were pretty accurate with that, weren't they? Because yes, price was moving up impulsively before that, was not able to break above resistance, and then turned and started to move impulsively to the downside. So sometimes you can kind of estimate when a swing is over by using price levels, of course. But you can also have an idea about when the swing is over by using this time factor, by counting candles. So basically, time factor allows me to know when a swing is finished, to know when a corrective swing is finished or an impulsive swing is finished. It's an extra tool for me to say, okay, probably the swing is over. Not only based on price, but also based on time. So it's an additional tool, technique, concept that I use to aid me in understanding when these swings are over. Okay, so when is it precisely over? So I'm going to focus for the moment on impulsive. When does the impulsive swing finish? All right, just to give, I don't want, because we can focus on other parts too, when the impulse starts, when the correction ends, for instance. But let's start with when the impulse, when the momentum is finished. First, we would need to know what is impulse. So I hope that most of you know it, but basically very quickly is that it's a series of candles where the majority of the candles are either bullish or bearish. If it's a bullish momentum, it's, of course, the majority are bullish. If it's a bearish momentum, the majority is bearish, right? So I'm going to continue with the bullish example. So majority of the candles are bullish. The close is near the high. The bullish candles are typically larger. Not all of them, but a couple of them are larger. And so obviously there are not many bearish candles. The bearish candles that we see are relatively small. And the candle closes of the bullish candles are near the high, indicating strength. So those are characteristics very quickly of momentum. But how do we know when it's finished? So here we're looking at an example, random example, dollar yen. You can see that this was a pretty good strong momentum. Then price kind of slows down, but still pushes higher. Overall, I would say on the daily chart, you can see that it is a momentum, right? So pretty good momentum right there. But we can focus on this last part to focus on the end of it. Okay, so what I noticed is that when you have the dollar yen is maybe not the best example. It's maybe not the best pair for that. Let me use pound as an example. All right, good. Or maybe your dollar. Let's see. Okay, let's use your dollar. Good. All right. So typically when we have momentum, each candle has a higher high or a lower low. But sometimes we don't have a higher high. So for instance, here we have a higher high, higher high, higher high. Here we have a higher high, higher high, higher high. But not all candles have a higher high. In this particular small piece there is a lower high. So some candles don't have a higher high. Doesn't mean that the momentum is over if one or two candles don't continue with that momentum. All right? You get a fractal typically, in many cases, not always, but when two candles don't break for a high. But I noticed that that is not typically a very informative. What I noticed was, and that's basically what the EA is about, the idea is about, is that 5 to 6 candles not breaking for a higher high or lower low, the chances of that swing being completed substantially increase. It's not a guarantee, obviously. Nothing is in trading. But typically, momentum keeps pushing if price keeps pushing with a higher high within 5 to 6 candles. If it fails, then the swing is over and either price is making a correction and still might continue with the previous momentum, or price is reversing and it might change momentum direction. Which one of those two is happening depends on other factors. But typically that particular moment is over. If we look at the euro dollar, we see that, for instance, here 5 to 6 candles and we had a correction. Here 5 to 6 candles and we had a correction. Here 5 to 6 candles and we had a correction. Here 5 to 6 candles and it looks like we're having an impulsive move down. All right. So the EA is focused on trading basically the beginning of an impulse till the end of the impulse. Okay? And now you know at least how the end is calculated. The beginning is a bit quite similar, in fact, but I just wanted to focus on one side for the moment. So it's basically based on this rhythm. So when we look at it like this, all right, basically we can look at the properties. And basically what we're seeing is the maximum number of trades. Well, I don't have any particular maximum in mind, so I just put it high. If fixed lot size, well, I use basically money management. So I take a 1% risk as when back testing, all right? So I leave this at 0. Then I can fill in either take profit in pips or R2R. I fill in the R2R. I could also close it at 2 positions, take profit at 0.2 or 0.1, and I can split that in 50-50, it depends, or 75-25, I have to put the percentage here if I want to do that. The stop loss is trailed behind the fractals. So here I could use, for instance, X number of pips behind the fractal. It could be 10, for instance. This is candles back is the time factor. Do I use 5 to 6 candles or 7? I use 7 in this case. And these are variables I need to test. How many fractals of a trail stop loss do I use? 1, 2 fractals back. And how many pips behind the fractal do I trail stop that fractal? Which moving averages I use for the trend, because I'm trading with the trend. And a filter is also available with the Keltner, indicating that if there is a breakout when its price is beyond the Keltner, it would avoid trading it as a filter. So now it's false. It could be turned on as well. So these are particular settings that are available. Now, once that is chosen, then I can choose the time period, the currency or instrument, and then the date. And then I can see, after running it, if it makes a profit or not. So far, the profit that I have seen in backtesting at least was on the smaller side, but on lower time frames. On higher time frames, it has not been profitable, and it's been showing losses. The higher the time frame, the bigger the loss on average, somehow, with the settings I've been using. But on smaller time frames, it showed break-evens, small profit. So it's not enough, though. It's not good enough. So, but I haven't had time to go through enough of these properties. So if anyone wants to join me in my work, and we can share the fruit of this cooperation, then, or this not cooperation, but of the testing, then that's great. If not, no problem either. So up to you. If you find it interesting, then please feel free to send me an email. If we try out a test, let's say just for, I don't want to make it too long, let's say for 3 months, so that's July, June, May. Let's say May. Okay, May to the end of July. Let's say last week then. Okay, and let's see. I think that we can leave this here for a moment. I'm not sure if this is what I was testing or not, but I really don't remember. But let's just leave this for the moment, and let's try a 30-minute chart for the fun of it, okay? And we can say start. So, as soon as you click start, you can see that, of course, don't forget that you would have to, for the expert advisor, you have to click on this particular button, strategy tester, and then you would have to click on the particular version that I sent you, which is this one, custom fractals expert version 8. And then you can choose the other things. Of course, then there's also the option of optimizing. You click on optimizing, by the way, I'll show in a second. You can click on optimizing, and then you can even add the things you want to optimize in expert properties, and then you have some options with regard to optimization. I'm not really a big user of this, so I don't know much about optimization relative to other traders, but that's basically how you could do it. Maybe some of you know more about it probably than me, but it is an option that helps. So you can see the green bar indicating the status, how far it is completed. Then we'll take a look at the results, the graphs, in just a second. And I think it should be completed any second. So let's go back in just a minute. If you're interested in in this, you can send an email to this particular email address. It's my email address, and let me know about it. So if you're watching the recording, then you can pause it right now. Of course, and if you're watching live, I can just send it quickly through chat. There we go. Let's see how far it is. It's taking a bit longer than I thought it would. I chose a smaller period so it would be faster, but it's taking a bit longer. But anyhow, you can see here the results, the trades taken, right? All the trade, or not only the trades, but all the decisions really, modified, everything. It goes into all the detail here. Then the graph is showing the results. So you see small drawdown and upside, drawdown, upside, drawdown. At the moment, it's up a few hundred. It's going back to break even now though. Right here it was up about 2,000 on a 10,000 account. So it was up 20%, but it seems like it lost that at the end, unfortunately. So let's take a look. So total net profit, 172 euros, which is not much obviously compared to 10,000 deposit. So it's about, well, 1% is 100 euros. So it's like 1.7%, which is not much for 3 months, obviously, but it is slightly positive. Profit factor, you can see all the stats here. You can see the drawdown, although this was positive this was drawdown, but in positive territory though. Well, you know the drill, I guess. You can take a look at these stats, consecutive losses, wins. What else can we see? So it's interesting that it's really only if the winners is only 28%, 72% losses, which is low, but the winners pay off enough to still put it into slight positive territory. Funny enough. So we can try to read it. Is it maybe to take profit? Should it be smaller, perhaps? Should it be a tighter stop loss? Those are things to think about. So yeah, that's an example. And well, regarding the EAs, you can also use, by the way, besides this one, right away. You don't have to wait for that. You can use Trading Simulator. Right here, all right? And that is part of the MT4 Supreme Edition. And you can backtest your systems and strategies, and that is available if you download MT4 Supreme Edition, which you can do by going here to admiralmarkets.com, going to platforms, clicking on MT4 Supreme Edition, and clicking on free download, all right? And at the bottom, if you scroll down, you see the advantages of the Supreme Edition. Mini terminal, trade terminal, tick chart trader, staying connected, indicator package, and a trading simulator, and mini charts, just to name a few. 60 extra plus features. Trading simulator is one of those. And if you click on learn more, basically you'll be taken here, and you'll be explained right here how to do it. Open the mini terminal, step-by-step explanation, so you're not lost in the dark. Wait, sorry, 1 second. I thought that I'm at the wrong part. Sorry about that. There we go. Trading simulator. Sorry, here. Point 6. Before that was something else. So setting up, starting testing, trading with the trading simulator, finishing the testing, etc. So there's a guideline if you click on learn more here. All right. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to still show here as well. There you go. That's the link. Okay, it's for backtesting. Very useful. And you can use that right away. For those that are interested in not only this, but perhaps the time factor EA, you can check out this email. All right. So we can take a look. One more example. You want to take a look at one more test run. Let's make this a cooperation now. What do you want to test? Let me go back. I know it's a bit difficult for you to say. Okay, how about the take profit? What kind of reward to risk ratio should we aim for? Let's try one together. I have it at 1.5 to 1 now. Now mind you that we do have only a 28% win rate. So I don't know. Maybe we should aim higher because we could say like those few wins have to earn us more. We could go lower, try to get a higher win rate perhaps. What do you think? Or should we leave it and use other factors? Maybe we should, we could use a lower number of candles back, for instance. We could use a lower fractal buffer or higher. Maybe lower, it's a lower time frame. Give up less pips with the trail. So I'll give you some few seconds here and see what you say. Okay, Brian has rather goes for higher. So let's do that. Let's aim for 2. Let's cut back on, it's a lower time frame, so we can cut back on the trail. And we'll do one test with 2, R2R, and we'll do one test with 1 to 1. Let's see how it goes. We can compare it for the fun. And let's leave the rest the same, just for the fun here. And we'll leave the same time frame, just to give an idea. All right, so we'll do 2 tests. We'll leave this 5 pips. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if we get better results. This is a bit unhandy testing. I think you can do it better with the optimization function, but yesterday, of course, FOMC interest rate, your dollar pushing one more time to the upside, hitting that 117.50 that we talked about in yesterday's, well, we're not actually going a bit above it, 117.75, a quarter above the quarter referring to 117.50 as a quarter level, and 75 is a quarter level too. And that definitely happens with the euro dollar. Always keep it in mind. It likes these quarter round levels, 110, 120, 112, 50, 115, 117.50, and it even likes to go a quarter above or below the quarter. Okay, seems to be ready. So, did we have a better result? We did. Great. So we managed to make 1362, which is 13.6%. That's looking a bit better, I guess, because that is then what's then, if you divide it by 3, a bit less than 3 because it's not even full 3 months, but let's say just 3 for the fun of it. What is that? That's then 3.5? No, 4 is 12, 4.5, 4.5% per month. So ultimately, we did have less wins, but they paid off more, indeed. Maybe because of the 2-to-1, 202 trades, but 70 trades per month. All right, good. So let's do the same test, but try one-to-one, and then we'll stop. I guess I don't want to bore everyone. Maybe I mean, for those that are interested, I guess you're interested already. For those that are not interested, then you're not. I guess you know, people have made up their mind. But if you have any questions, now's the time, because we're still running this test. So if you have any questions, let me know. Reach out. We can take a look at it. Now, otherwise, we'll wrap it up for today. We're getting to the top of the hour. Let's see. I would bet that probably Brian is right, because it did make a nice jump there. So if it's one-to-one, unless the win percentage really, really does well, it should have a worse result, I would say. So great job, Brian. And, you know, this is something we could play around with. Maybe we find out that 2.5 is even better. Who knows? I don't know. Apparently, when it goes, it goes. And maybe it's, or maybe, you know, it's just good impulse there. So who knows? Anyone interested, just out of curiosity, in the meantime, as we're waiting for this to finish, the next third test, anyone interested in this by any chance? Okay, great. Got 2 people interested. That's great. Maybe more later on in the webinars, in the video. But, you know, I really don't know how good the results would be. I mean, so far I've had, as I said, like not so good results, high time frame, lower times of small profits. It would be nice to get it better, I guess, before it makes sense, I think, personally. But let's see, this is, it's about the same. How's it? I hope that it's, yeah, it seems to be slightly lower. It seems to be slightly lower. It seems to be, if I remember correctly, about $100 lower. It's about 1%. It's not a big difference. I would like to compare it. I wish I saved these numbers. If I remember correctly, it's about 5% more wins. Which would seem a bit on the low side to compensate it, but okay. I don't know. Let's take a look at the graph. Yeah, definitely when there's momentum, there's just, you know, you catch these bigger wins, and then when there's a correction and the market doesn't make that momentum, it kind of slowly loses and then gains again when there's momentum. So that's basically the gist of this, as you can see, of this particular EA. All right. Well, folks, that will wrap it up for today. For more info, check it out here, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, algorithmicmarkets.com, where you can, of course, download the MT4 Supreme Edition. You can check out the trading simulator as well, plus many other of the other features, of course, analytics, webinars, education, etc. We'll be back next week, and we're looking forward to looking at the live markets and live charts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And next week we have, of course, as always on Thursday, we have the educational webinar. So wish you all great trading and good upcoming weekend, and talk to you soon. Cheers.